Hi, it's Ate. I'm a former French Navy fighter pilot. I flew Super Étendard and Rafale Navy from the French aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle. And today we're going to be focusing on a dogfight between an F-22 Raptor from the US Air Force and a Rafale Air from the French Air Force that took place in 2009. Let's go! 2009 ATLC, which is basically a leadership training program that took place in Al Dhafra in the UAE 11 years ago. The idea was to have F-16, Typhoon from the Royal Air Force, F-22 from the US Air Force, and Rafale from the French Air Force, amongst other nationalities, that all together join up and train to fight together. When we do those big missions all together, on the side, we also usually host one-on-one contest or two-on-two contests where we're going to be able to fly against each other, see how the other platform work and create more rapport with our allies. One of the mission was between F-22s and Rafale, and that to flight 1v1, which is one Rafale against one F-22. That's what we're going to be focusing on today, and we're going to follow a very simple plan. We're going to have a look at the rules of engagement. We're going to have a look at the aircraft a little bit, and after that we're going to get into the engagement. We'll have a look. We created some footage with DCS, Digital Combat Simulator, and after that we'll take another look step by step. We'll discuss everything before wrapping it up with a debrief. But to start, F-22 Raptors, that's what you can see on the screen right now. It's a very stealthy aircraft, extremely good aircraft, very powerful engines. Basically, just to give you an idea, one of these engines is as powerful as the two engines of the Rafale. It can carry 6 air-to-air medium and long-range missiles, but also 2 AIM-9 Mike at that time, so the Sidewinder. Sidewinder has a reputation of having about 18 to 20% kill ratio during the Vietnam War. It's a Mike version, it's not the latest version. Latest version is X-ray. And what you have to understand is for an aircraft like the F-22 to maintain its stealth, it usually keeps all the weapons in the bay, as you can see on the picture right there. So for an IR missile, infrared missile, to take a lock before being shot, you have basically to open the bay. And that's why you have different bay for Fox 3. So Fox 3 is electromagnetic missiles, and other bays for Fox 2 missiles, because I don't fly the F-22, but I guess he can open those hatches to get infrared rock with his IM-9X if need be during close combat. The F-22 has not been designed to do BFM. It has been designed as an air superiority aircraft. He's supposed to shoot you before you can even see him or know that he's around. Extremely expensive aircraft, but yet you have to understand it is an aircraft. It can have issue. We saw it a couple of weeks ago. Small takeoff issue with the landing gear. It happens to any type of aircraft. So the F-22, it's a pretty heavy aircraft. You're between 20 and 38 tons. As you might see on those pictures, they had some canopy issues once. The guy was locked inside, trapped inside for 5 hours. But the Rafale had issues as well. Still a Miron French aircraft, 100% French design and creation. We're looking at 10 to 20 tons, so about 50% of the weight of the F-22, and the engines, same 50%, so 7.5 ton per engine, 2 engines, 15 tons of thrust, M88 by Safran, very good aircraft, 4 air-to-air missiles that are Fox 3, and 2 Mika infrared or Magic 2 back in the days, infrared missile for short or medium range. You don't have the same stealth capabilities. It's not designed to be as stealthy, but you do have what you can see on the front, the OSF. It's sort of a camera that enables you to get some nice footage of the enemy, and you can lock it as well. So Rafale had this share of small mishaps as well. That's from a Rafale Navy. I showed an F-22 having issues on the runways. That's why, hey, I might be French, but today I put my Canadian flag on. I'm French and Canadian. I fly for a major airline in Canada now, and I got my training with the US Navy. So today, no side, we're gonna look at the facts, we're gonna look at the tape. I won't be saying, hey, Cocorico, French are better. I won't be saying, America, Texas is better. No, we're gonna look at the facts, we're gonna get into it. I won't be a musician or take side, I'll just stick to the facts. But to understand the footage we're gonna get, you need to understand the head-up display. Welcome inside the head-up display of the Rafale, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you some of the key elements you're gonna need. So first and foremost is you have the horizon bar right here. It means that's where the horizon is. Then you have some indication above the horizon or below the horizon. Above steady line, below the horizon is the line is cut. And then at the end, you have small tips that show you where the horizon is. So if the tips are down, basically means follow those small arrows. It's going to bring you to straight and level flight. On the top over there, we do have the altitude, two source, barrel altimeter. And if you're below a given altitude, you'll have the radalt, a radar altimeter. On the other side, you do have the airspeed, indicated airspeed, and the Mach number as well. DGFT means dogfight mode is on, special mode for all the sensors. AOA, angle of attack, how is my aircraft looking? Extremely important for Navy guys, extremely important in combat. We have a delta wing, you want to make sure you maintain within specific range of AOA to max perform your aircraft. So that's a very useful tool. And you have some sensors. I've got the gun on, I've got the Mica on. That type of information usually is right above the horizon. And then on the right side, you have some help to understand your radar system. Won't go too much into it, but that's basically it. So airspeed, altitude, mode you're in, and of course the weapon you selected. And we're going to be switching between Mica EM, Fox 3, then Fox 2, Mica IR, and after that, guns. Let's do that. Great, so now that you understand the Rafale head-up display is the sole source of information that we have, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna explain to you a little bit more about the rules of engagement of what happens. So what we do know comes from Portail Aviation. It's a website that basically had the leak of the footage. I did some research, talked with a couple of guys to try to understand better exactly what was going on. So it's a 1v1 flight. My understanding is that it was officially guns only, so no IM-9X, Mike, sorry, no Mica, no Fox 2, no Fox 3. It's just guns only, which is just for training. Basically, it's extremely rare to be guns only in real life. In terms of rules of engagement, we don't know them. In terms of the rest, the weather is nice, which is good. Looks like they have a hard deck at 5,000 feet, so they will be fighting above 5,000 feet. They started their fight at 20,000 feet. They're above the ground. Weather is nice. Temperature should be correct. It's between November 11 and December 9 in the Gulf, which is good and which has an impact as you might imagine. When temperature is extremely hot, extremely warm, it's not as good for your engines. So basically the engines were operating and the aircraft were performing as well as they could in this area of the world. Winter temperatures is better for those engines, for any engine actually. So that's basically the big picture. That's what we know in terms of fight. It starts with a fight song, it ends with a request terminate with a terminate. They would have used the word knock it off if it was for safety, but looks like it was a regular fight from fight song to terminate. There was about 3 minutes 05 of combat, and within those 3 minutes 05, it started with a merge, the two aircraft merging face to face with one another, and post-merge you have 2 minutes and 40 seconds. But the fight song was called before the merge, meaning you're allowed to shoot pre-merge before merging with the other aircraft, which adds credibility to the guns only scenario and rules of engagement, what's called training rules in that case. They're going to try to maintain a 1,000 feet, 300-meter bubble. That's basically NATO rules. But what we're missing is the radio chatter from the American aircraft. We're going to be able to hear the French radio chatters, what he's going to say on the radio. We won't be able to hear, that's a shame, the American radio communications. So we don't know if he's taking shots, we don't know if he's flaring, we don't know all that stuff. So beware. We might have a footage, we might have a tape, we don't know exactly the rules, we don't know exactly what it looks like initially in terms of picture, but I think it's something pretty fair, what we call a neutral setup, and I'll talk about it later. But what we know is, looks like guns only, one aircraft, Rafale against one F-22 US Air Force, good weather conditions, our deck looked like 5,000 feet, from fight zone to terminate, 3 minutes and 5 seconds-ish. No training rule violation, doesn't look like it, so everything went fairly correctly. We do have the Frenchman communications, we do not have the US Air Force pilot communications. So let's get right into it and look at the leak. So it's coming from Le Portail des Passionnés de l'Aviation, Portail Aviation. I'm going to put you their new website link inside. So basically it's starting Top Gun style. So in the UAEs back in 2009, there was a training called ATLC, Advanced Tactical Leadership Course 2009. Beyond this simple exercise, it was basically a sort of competition just after the very famous Dubai Air Show, and brand new aircraft like the Typhoon, the F-22 or the Rafale were basically in contest for the first time ever. Until then, by the British, the Rafale was seen as a good aircraft. It wasn't combat proven yet, but it was completely outranked by the F-22 or the Typhoon. During that exercise, the Rafale demonstrated very good capabilities. He basically splashed the Typhoon, and we can do a video about it later if you want. So very good scores against the Typhoons, and also good ECM warfare capabilities and swing roll switching from air to ground to air capabilities. For the matches against the contest against the F-22, looked like there were 6 dogfights, 5 were even, and 1 was won by the Raptor. Looks like it was quite a discovery for the US Air Force. They invested a lot on the F-22. Again, it's not designed to be the best dogfighter in the world. It's supposed to be the best air supremacy aircraft in the world. After some press interviews about this contest, looks like head of the Air Force said, oh yeah, okay, but it's because the F-22 was carrying external fuel tanks. External fuel tanks on the F-22 are below the wings. We're going to show you a picture, and in response to that, the French Air Force leaked some picture from the OSF, so you know it's a super camera I just talked about, and that's what the picture looked like. So afterburner on, F-22 climbing above the desert, and no fuel tanks. So why is it important? When you have fuel tanks, your maneuvering capabilities are limited, and if you're in a real life dogfight, you're gonna jettison, get rid of those fuel tanks. So when you're doing one-on-one, you want the fuel tanks to be dropped if you really want to max perform your aircraft. Looks like the Rafale was fully air-to-air. Looks like the F-22 was fully air-to-air as well. No excuse. Real dogfighting, real BFM 1v1 for training, again with training rules. I'm not going to be talking during the video. You're going to be looking at it. You're going to see how much of a workout it is, and I'm going to add some DCS views just to help you understand exactly what is going on. It's not 100% accurate, my DCS views. It's about 85-90% of the truth. Let's do it.
Down in fight zone. Alex, steady. Max, copy. Confirm your last tree. Copy. Say again your last power Max. Say again your last power Max and revolve back to. Left side copy. Confirm your performance target. Black to air max 31 terminate. Request terminate. I request to terminate and to perform a
from our intel is that might be exactly what happened as they finished debriefing this event.
Quelle putain de chaleur!
Okay, so that's pretty much French humor. Sorry about that. It's USS 117. It's a very, very, very famous movie in France. And it's a scene where the US guy from the CIA just saved a French guy life. And it's pretty funny. So French viewers will get it. If you're not French, I've put another movie at the end of this video. So make sure to check it. I mean, I'm sure that time you'll get it. Okay, so now we're gonna go step by step and analyze exactly what happened during that fight. Let's do it. I won't be using a F-22 stick. I don't have one. I'll be using my infamous Rafale Navy stick. Again, it's Rafale Air Force. It's not a Rafale Navy in that exercise. The DCS footage was Rafale Navy. That's the only one I've got. Sorry to my Air Force friend. Okay, so thank you, H, and yeah, video says we're not trying to show anything special. Good. Okay, so we just heard fights on. Fights on is the beginning of the fight. The video starts exactly as they call fights on. And in terms of maneuvers, what is going on? We have heading about 070, so the aircraft is basically heading to the east. He's doing 420 knots indicated, flight level 200, which is regular altitude for Rafale to start his combat. It's a good altitude to fly and fight. We don't know exactly what airspace they were allowed. I know for sure they were down to 5,000, maybe 25K or 20K, maybe, depends on the areas. Might be more, but had it been more, they might have started higher. The F-22, for my personal opinion, I think moves better than the Rafale the higher you go. So the higher you go, because it's so powerful, maybe it's better for the F-22. So flight level 200 is good for everyone. It's not plus or minus for any aircraft. What he's doing right after the fight on call is he's turning from heading 070 to all the way to heading almost south. So he's doing 90 degrees of turn, which makes me think that both aircraft were like that. And it's fights on. Okay, and now fights on, they're gonna face one another. So he was heading east, everybody was heading east. Now Rafale is heading south. The F-22 is probably heading north. And what the Rafale is doing is trading altitude for airspeed. He's going nose down, transitioning from flight level 200 all the way down to flight level 120. He's losing 8,000 feet, almost 3,000 meters, to descend and try to outmaneuver the F-22. That's what we're seeing right now. Very aggressive nose down, is basically turning like this, going toward the F-22. Radar is and systems are in dogfight mode, DGFT. You can see it on the left. He's pulling pretty hard on the stick. On the further right, you can see the G-force. In terms of weapon selected, is Fox 3 right now. MIW means he's using Fox 3, which is, sorry guys, in my opinion, an issue. It shouldn't be. You could have Fox 3 really initially because you're still at the distance that enables you to go Fox 3, but very soon he's gonna have to switch to Fox 2, otherwise he might miss a shooting opportunity. And that's important to note. You might be doing guns only. Nothing precludes you from taking shots, Fox 3 or Fox 2 for your own training as long as you do not claim them. I'll say it again. You're doing guns only. Great. Real life, you might not be guns only. You want to make the most out of the flight time professionally and also for your country, for your taxpayer, because you want to enhance the training as much as you can. And it is difficult to switch from guns to Fox 2 to Fox 3. It requires training, so the more training you get, the better it is. So if tomorrow you send me to do a guns only mission, I'm going to take a Fox 3 pre-merge, even if the fight is not on, but I won't call it. I won't claim it. I won't say, hey guys, I shot you down. No, I'll just do it for the sake of my own training, to be used to do it, so that when the day comes, I will have the reflex to take the action. If you only train with your guns, when the day comes, your brain is going to melt with all the stress, the adrenaline, the lack of oxygen in the aircraft. You might not have the reflex, you might not have the training to do it. So therefore, it makes sense to be Fox 3, but it's going to have to switch to Fox 2 pretty soon, because the limit in terms of range is different. You can shoot a Fox 2 closer than a Fox 3. Fox 3 needs some time to arm and everything, just like torpedoes in Red October if you've seen the movies. So you need to adapt your weapons to your distance to the enemy. Let's see if it does a good job. Okay, so you see all the stuff on the side. It basically means the OSF and lots of I won't get too much into details on that, but a lot of sensors have detected the F-22. Awesome job, stealth aircraft. So from the distance, you see stealth isn't that much of a question. All the Rafale sensors have detected the F-22. He's basically locked, and the pilot is continuing his maneuver. You see the distance is coming down, so his weapon system, his Fox 3 missiles are locked. I won't get into too much details because maybe that shouldn't be showing like that. And he could be taking shots until a certain point, and after that it's too late. He's gonna have to change his weapons. So right now he's basically turned 90 degrees. I'm pretty sure so did the F-22s. They're now facing like this. And the Rafale decided to go below the F-22, maybe to try to get some angles right away. He's boosted his energy, went from 400 knots, 420 knots to more than 500 knots. He's below Mach 0.9, which is smart in terms of flight controls. You don't want to be too fast. And he's going for the merge. So right now, for training, he could have shot. Just saying. Chances are the F-22 driver is training himself as well, and the F-22 driver has already had a shot. Completely possible. What you see right now is a cross that basically says, be careful, you're going to fly into the contact, so well, watch out, you're going to have a meteor collision, which is normal in those situations, but you still want to pay attention.
Alex,
Right now he's calling Talio, so he sees the enemy aircraft, which surprises me a bit, because he was moving in terms of altitude. So if he's not Talio before that, maybe he should have called it, or he should have stick to his block, what we call sanctuary altitude. So he wasn't supposed to cross all the altitudes, because usually one aircraft has odd altitudes, the other one has even altitudes. Let's say today for that flight, the Rafale is allowed to have even altitudes. It can be at 10,000, 12,000, 14,000, 16,000, 18,000. And the F-22 has the other altitudes. That basically means if you don't see the enemy, you stop at the altitude you were assigned, and the other aircraft, and you call it, no joy, and the other aircraft is gonna put himself at a different altitude. So when you're crossing altitudes, what we call crossing blocks like this, you're supposed to know where the enemy is. So yes, he does have all these sensors. I think it's just because it's a bit task saturated and it's normal. He didn't call the Talio before. Might be out of habit. Usually when we do training missions in France, we like to start the merge, or we like to start the fight zone at the merge. So you're used to giving out a call at the merge, maybe just pure habit. So, oh, he just merged, so he's calling something, he just out of habit. That's why it's important to train like you fight. Release stick is because he's like hammering the stick, flight by wires. He's just like going full demand, and the computer is going to give him the best performance possible at the time. He didn't switch his missile as he was getting closer to infrared. Okay. Again, every pilot is different, every procedure is different. Usually you would like to change your ammunition as you get closer. He's maneuvering pretty hard, as you might see, more than 7 Gs right now. Heavy breathing, that's why we try to work out, and we try to do some training for the neck as well. Right now, if he's 100 kilograms, he's doing more than 700 kilograms, trying to move his head to maintain tally on the F-22. And his max performance in aircraft, and right now his goal is to put his nose as fast as possible on the F-22. Is it the best maneuvers? I don't know, I'm not here to judge. There are other options, you can go pure vertical, stuff like that. He had probably a game plan. His game plan looks like was, I'm going to try to go below him, but I'm going to try to pull as hard as I can to put my nose on the F-22 and have a big pressure on the F-22. Right now he's still with his Fox 3, so for those of you that fly DCS in sims, or you probably would like to have your Fox 2 on at that point, even if you're doing guns only, or your guns. He's switching his radar mode, a different type of radar. Won't get into detail too much, but you don't have to be qualified on Rafale to get a feeling that this new view is something designed to help you acquire radar lock in that type of situation. Okay, perfect. Now we see that he has the afterburner on. You see the small arrows, means the afterburner are on. He's at 14,000 feet, 230 knots. Why? Because he depleted his energy. He traded his airspeed for degrees. So he pulled he yanked the stick back very aggressively. And now he sees a Raptor. Raptor is still turning. We're now heading north. So what we just did is 180 degree of turn. So let's say again, he started like this, we merged, and he decided to pull as hard as he could, and he's now heading north, and you see the F-22, probably, pretty sure, did a left turn, and now they're doing like this. So now we decide to reverse his turn because he's aggressive. He basically had a better turn rate than the F-22, which is actually pretty great. So his game plan worked. Like, I'm gonna outperform the turn of the F-22. I'm gonna get a smaller turn radius. I'm gonna cut it in, and that's enabling him to be aggressive, offensive on the F-22 right after only 180 degrees of turn, which is impressive, which is a very good position you want to be in. The only issue is so much on the flying the aircraft that his weapon system isn't locked in infrared. Right now, at that point, I'm gonna let someone else say it.
Do it! Just do it!
Yeah, take the shot! Even if it's for training, guy, you're flying a Rafale against an F-22, even if it's guns only, at least get some tape on, Fox 2 on the guy, and he's gonna get it. You see, right there, you had a shooting opportunity. You had the ability to get a Fox 2 kill right there. But his weapon system wasn't on infrared, it was on Fox 3. So it's too close for a shot. Remember Top Gun, too close for missiles, switching to guns. You have too close for electromagnetic missiles, switching to infrared missiles. Too close for infrared missiles, switching to guns. That's more likely what they should have said. The idea right there is that is a position to get a kill. Rafale against F-22 after only 180 degrees of turn. So wasn't expecting that. Awesome. Good job, Deso. I really like you're enjoying the video so far. It's a lot of work with all the lockdown and stuff. My wife is working a lot, taking care of elderly people, and I've got my kids on my hands, so I wasn't able to spend as much time as I wished, and trust me, I go to bed really late. So what I'm gonna do is, because I want to make such a big video, I'm dividing the content in two, so you're gonna have part 2 tomorrow. I'm gonna finish the editing this night, and I'll be releasing part 1 French tomorrow as well, and part 2 French on Monday around lunchtime. So thank you very much. If you like the video, if you want to show your support, it's not only buying t-shirt stuff, my book, thank you very much, by the way, still best-selling book on leadership for Amazon, an ebook. It's also sharing the video. If you share it on social medias, it's free for you, it's good for us, it's good for the channel. The bigger the channel, the more time I put into it. Because I got plenty of stuff to do, and if you guys keep me motivated, I'll keep creating content. So thank you very much. 15.6k followers in 33 days. It's insane. Thank you. Have a great day. See you tomorrow for part 2. It is already shot, just some editing. It's going to be nice and a lot of stuff going on. Cheers.